One of the world's most famous jailbreakers is a man named Yoshie Shirotori, known as the man no prison could hold. Why? Well, he managed to escape from prison not one time, not 2 times, but 4 different times. The first time, he spent months memorizing the routines of the prison guards and discovered a 15-minute window where no one was watching. So early one morning, Yoshie picked the lock of his cell, then 6 more doors before finally escaping, all in under 15 minutes. Impressive. The guards raised the alarm and a manhunt ensued. Police found Shirotori and recaptured him after 3 days of searching. He was sentenced to life in prison and was transferred to a more well-guarded facility. This time, his cell was even more secure. But that couldn't stop Yoshie. For months, he would pick his cuffs at night and climb up the walls of his cell like an acrobat, getting as high as he could. Eventually, he got good enough to hoist himself up onto a small windowsill. He noticed the steel bars were held in place by a wooden frame, so he went about weakening the wood week after week, using the only thing he had at his disposal: soup. Each day, Yoshie would receive a portion of miso soup, which he poured onto the exposed wood, causing it to rot and eventually break. Then he just waited for a stormy night and climbed through the broken window. With all the heavy rainfall, guards never heard his footsteps on the roof. Yoshie fled right to the house of a prison guard he probably shouldn't have trusted, because he promptly called the police. Just like that, Yoshie was back in prison. 3rd time's the charm. This time, Yoshie was sent to a remote maximum security prison in the mountains of northern Japan, reserved for the absolute worst criminals in the country. They clapped his arms and legs in special 40-pound iron restraints that were so advanced it took a specialist 2 hours to take them off. He also got his own cell with even smaller windows and even smoother walls. It seemed like they finally had Yoshie's number. Until August 26th of 1944, when the prison was hit with a rolling blackout. When the lights came back on and the guards checked on Yoshie, they found a pair of iron cuffs in an empty cell. That son of a gun did it again, for a 3rd time. But how? Using his secret weapon, of course, miso soup. He would spit some of the soup into both the heavy iron shackles and the food slot on the cell door, which rotted the wood in the door frame and rusted the iron cuffs. Once the blackout hit, Yoshie broke his rusted handcuffs, then dislocated both his shoulders to squeeze through the food slot on the door. His maximum security escape made authorities furious. So when Yoshie was finally found for a 3rd time, he was given the death penalty. His final cell was specially designed with windows and vents so small that no one could possibly squeeze through them. But all that attention to the ceiling meant his floor was an afterthought. Yoshie took apart the floorboards and dug his way free. And what did he use to dig? A miso soup bowl, of course. Eventually, Yoshie turned himself into the police, hoping to get a lighter sentence, which he did. Just 20 years in prison rather than the death penalty. He ended up spending 14 years behind bars before being released on good behavior. This time, he left prison legally, through the front doors. So that's the true story of the man no prison could hold. The Harry Houdini of handcuffs. The maestro of miso. Yoshie Shirotori.